Morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm going to say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take life for granted. I don't take you for granted. I'm happy and grateful for you. I just want to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you're great. Your purpose, okay? You're not looking for purpose, you are purpose. And I'm going to remind you that every week. So it's Meal Prep Monday. Y'all got to forgive me. I'm super duper tired. I'm tired. I literally maybe within the half hour. Just got home. Um, I drove from Pennsylvania home. We had did a Cairo's birthday was last week, and she wanted a field trip, which is a road trip. So we spent time um in Pennsylvania and in Maryland, and I'm just getting home, so I'm somewhat delusional, but it's okay because it's Meal Prep Monday. And I was thinking about it because I went and listened to last week's call. So last week's call is on YouTube, and I ain't gonna hold y'all today, but I was listening to last week's call, and it made me just start thinking because over the time of me doing what I did this past week, I know different people had different feelings and all relevant, some don't see how I do what I do, some may feel I you know stack my plate too much, some may think I don't do it enough. But it's Meal Prep Monday, and what I really want to encourage us, because I told you the shift has already changed, or it's already taken place. We're in the season of overflow. We are in a season of harvest. And like I've been saying, you may not see it right now. You may not feel like it right now, but by faith, I believe it. And I know because of my belief that it will manifest. Okay. So we have to understand that we've got to line up. We have to line up with heaven, period. If and I've been talking about this, if we believe that our footsteps are predestined and preordained, then when we're in the right steps, we're graced to do it. Okay? Cairo turned 6 last Tuesday. And the actually, while we were on this trip, because I always say Cairo's my favorite, and everyone's like, "You're not supposed to say that. You got 4 grandbabies." Okay, that is true. My dad used to say Kadeja was all right. So anyway, I say it, but I love them all. Okay. So we know that when we go through relationships, or when we have relationships, personalities, all of that, some just kind of mesh more than others, whatever. So I say this. And while we were on the trip, Jaden, because I took Jaden in Egypt too, they asked me, like, why do you say Cairo's your favorite? And so I answered them honestly. Okay. But I say all this to say, I believe that God, in my heaven footsteps, graced me to give her what she asked Gigi for her birthday. Okay? She asked Gigi for a field trip. A field trip is a road trip. I wanted her to be able to have her birthday with her family here and her family in Maryland. And I truly believe that I was in heaven's footsteps. And the reason I feel that way is because I never drive to Maryland straight. Okay. I did it going there, I did it coming back. Usually we'll get a room. We didn't do that. I did stop and slept going up for about an hour and a half, coming down maybe an hour, hour and a half. But I believe he graced me. Okay. I want y'all to think about what you do in your day, because when it's from heaven, when we align with heaven, when we align with the footsteps that are predestined and preordained, we're graced for them. All right. So, what are we doing with our time? What are we doing with our days? And when I tell y'all this trip was good, it was good soul care for me. Okay. So, I was able to see my dad's best friend. So, for me, I got a piece of heaven, because anyone who knows anyone in the military versus a civilian, first of all, their conversation different, the way they think is different, and there are a lot of harvest things happening in my life, because I told y'all it's harvest season. So even for the vision God gave me 5 years ago for the meal plan, I have now in this season received one-on-one clients. I've done coaching before, but this is the one-on-one. I've received a VIP client. So all these things are happening in this season because I kept my hand on the plow. You have kept your hand on the plow. So expect the overflow, expect harvest, but you also have to be intentional to walk in your footsteps that are predestined and preordained. Okay. So even though it was a lot, I'm tired, but I feel grace to have done what I've done in the week. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because now I feel like I'm talking super slow compared to how our morning mindset calls are. But I'm a little tired. But I do want to encourage you, trust your process. Don't abort it. And it doesn't have to make sense to anyone as long as you have peace to do it. And I don't mean this in a way of not listening to your wise counsel. This is why you have to know your three, your 12, and the 72 sent out two by two. This is why these things are important. Everything we talk about on the morning mindset calls, they're just building. It's because we want to learn and grow. We want to shift our perspective. We want to give ourselves grace for the process. Okay? So a lot has changed because I believe that coming out of the crushing season, going into our harvest, you got to reposition yourself. You've got to readjust. You got to realign. So even for me, it's time for me to go through my dad's things. It'll be 4 years in January. So before I left, like I have literally planned out, I'm cleaning up. Sometimes we got to go and we got to clean out the old so we have room for the new. Okay? So, this is what I believe is in this season. As we're learning to pull heaven down here on earth, we've got to walk in the footsteps that are predestined and preordained for us, because that's where the grace is. We're graced for our journey. When we start doing other things, when you start feeling heavy, when you start feeling anxious, anything that is not aligned with who you truly are, then you need to reevaluate. This is the time where you should be walking out your character. You should be walking out your integrity. All these things that we were going through our crushing season, this is the time where we should see the fruit of it and the overflow. All right? But you got to keep walking it out. So it's like write the vision, make it plain. So the vision, we write it as a forecast, right? So we believe by faith that this is the harvest season. I believe by faith that this is the best financial year of my life. Okay? So I'm starting to see the fruit of my labor, which is now increasing my faith. We go faith to faith, glory to glory. All right? So every time we see these things, it should make us more humble, and it should put us in a posture where we want to work more on us. Another thing, Where people were in the last season, they may not be there in this season. And that's okay. That's okay. So you might have been cool over in back here when y'all was getting beat up together. But as you're now in the harvest and the overflow, you gotta know. You gotta realign. You gotta know who is called in this time. Because in the harvest and the overflow that you'll see because of the tenacity that you had to go through the crushing, don't think that you're not still being crushed or made. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Because, like I've been saying, a lot of what I was going through that I just obviously know was crushing, I see fruits of it, but it's not over. But it feels different. I don't know if anyone can attest to that. All my questions haven't been answered. All my situations have not been completed, but even with it, it feels better. I can be going through some stuff, but it doesn't feel the same because now I'm in victory. We're in victory. We're in the overflow. So we've got to allow the process of ourselves to continue. Okay? We've got to know, like, this was a great week, man. Like it was great. It was great, but it also had challenging moments. It had times where I had to feel I mean, like, first of all, even being with Mac, I mean, he is literally my dad all over. And so I told him, like, I don't have dad to talk to, so now I got you to talk to. So I dumped. Y'all hear me when I say he got 4 years worth of dump that I didn't get to talk to my dad. And it was yesterday. Like, he was talking and he's like, man, because he's like, I miss your dad every day. I said, me too. And there was a moment where he got very emotional. And I'm like, man, because it's like, it's just bittersweet, y'all. It was bittersweet. But I say all that to say we can't abort our processing. So even though there were like sad times, because the happy time was just kind of having that conversation and that feeling of my dad. And man, they're so much alike. I mean, they're I don't know if it's a military thing, if it's a friendship thing, but they're so much alike, down to him having this recliner with this blue blanket thrown over it like my dad had. Like, it was so much. But then there was times where I got a little sad because the reality is he's not dad. And I would never try to replace my dad with him, but Mac has been in my life since I was 13 years old. So he knows me, he knows my dad, he knows all this stuff. So I just say all that because now I'm rambling because I'm tired. I say all that to say, know that we're in this season, okay? Know that things are shifted. They have shifted. Some things from the previous season, it just won't be in the same position. Does not mean that that person is away, but it just might not be in the same position. And you have to be okay with that because you got to continue your processing. So you're going to receive reward from the fruits of your labor. So depending on how much you labored will determine how much fruit you get. Period. But it's okay because you'll get something because we're still here. But this is the time where you do a lot of your personal growth, you do your self development, you do all these things so that you can continue to prosper. We're kingdom first. Okay? We have the power and the authority to bring heaven on earth. So when I say aligning with heaven and bringing heaven down, that's what I'm talking about. I believe that this past week was exactly what it was supposed to be. I saw exactly who I was supposed to see. Solomon's mother passed away. I was able to spend the day with him and his family. So God still allowed me the grace to do what he's called me to do. Mac and I had amazing conversation about the Lord. So it's like I had even told Deja, like, I feel like it literally, like some of the things that were just left off with me and my dad, I feel like I'm able to kind of continue in that vein. Now it's just with Mac. Like the fact that he asked me about heaven, he asked me about God, he asked me about this process. So he's been a father figure in my life. And now at 52, I'm able to sow back into him. That is like, that's the fruit. Okay. Those are the things that we look for, that we understand, that when we can gauge whether or not we're in the right process. Then there were things that shifted. Normally, I'd stay with my homegirl. I didn't. I was able to see her, but I didn't. Like you gotta be able to adjust and shift. And when things start shifting, all change is uncomfortable. But when we're doing the change for the right reason, then there's peace, there's understanding. There you don't have to feel like you gotta explain and do this and that. You guard your peace. In this season, guard your peace. Work on self-control because it's the best thing, it's the best control to have. And you guard your peace and you walk out your journey where you can receive your harvest and your overflow while still working. Does that make sense? I hope so. It's 10:18. Y'all, I'm tired. Y'all got and actually it's kind of like a sum up of what I've been talking about, which is on the YouTube channel. All right. I got it up to date. Um, and I'll put this one up. But I also that's all I really wanted to say today because I feel like I've been talking about the same thing. Declare and decree. Know the power and the authority of your prayer and your words. And do not murmur and complain while you're celebrating. We're in a harvest of overflow. So don't murmur and complain. We all go through things, and yes, we have to release, but that's why you got to release in your safe space. Okay? You got to release in your safe space because in your safe space, they have the shoulders to carry it. They'll have the shoulders, they'll have the grace to help you in your place that you can stop. Because you want to be careful when we're in a celebration mode, when we're in a harvest mode, what you don't want is that subtleness of the enemy to take it out. I was just speaking to someone this morning. I was on the road, she was helping me. But then in the process, she was late for work. And she told me it's not your fault. But then, of course, here I go. Integrity, character. Keep it going. Sometimes when we're in a place of overflow or things are coming together, we can't lose what we are doing. Okay? So we got to stay integral. We've got to allow our character to build. We can't get lazy, slowful, laxed, and comfortable because now we're celebrating. Does that make sense? Because in this last season, when we was being crushed, oh, you didn't have to tell me to pray. I was praying. I was fasting, praying. Them knees, I had little knee pads, okay? But when we start getting into the place of the overflow, we don't want to lose that momentum. It may slow down, but we don't want to fall back. Does that make sense? Yes, no. Y'all come off mute.
Yes, it makes sense.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments, anything that I've been talking about? in this new season that you may not understand?
I have a question. Um,
Okay.
so you were saying that it's not the crushing season, but it's not over. So it's just, is it like interspersed crushing? Like, what is that?
When I say it's not over, because God moves in seasons. So I do believe that that was a crushing season, meaning we were going through. It was storms, we were weathering, things were happening. It was hard, it was, hurtful. There was a lot of self-inflicted wounds, but then I believe that there were some things that were just happening that really pushed us. So when I say a crushing season, that's what I'm talking about. Devastating things, hard things, Tyrone passing like 20 minutes after James talked to him. Who expected that? There were things that really just like might have hit us in the jugular, hit us in the gut. Then I believe now we are in a season of harvest and overflow. So when I say that it's not over, I am not talking about the season. What I'm saying is, even in the harvest and the overflow, things are still going to happen. But they should not penetrate and be like sucker punches and gut busting in this season, cuz we're in a season of overflow. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, so I wasn't talking about like the season, because the God moves in seasons. That season's done, but it's like that doesn't mean, it's almost like because we're in a harvest season. I'm not saying it to don't expect nothing to happen. Things happen. As great as my weekend was, things happened that didn't feel good, got me over here in my feelings. I'm having to process things. Like all of that's still happening. So that's what I mean. But the ultimate of where we are, you should see the fruit of your labor. You should see things coming together. The things that we sacrifice and consecrated ourselves for, you should start seeing a glimpse of light. Hope should be kept alive in this season. That's what I mean. Anyone else? I don't know who's on here, but anyone else? Anyone else? If no, I can give you your time back. But I didn't want to miss the call. Um, because I believe this is what God has told me to do. So he's gracing me. Now, when I get off this call, I may fall face forward. I don't know. I may fall out. I have no idea. But that's just kind of what I mean. And like I said, continue to declare and decree. Continue to declare and decree. I told y'all it's a 10-year um time. We're still in the season of pay. So your words still have power and they have authority. You have to speak a thing and it is so, especially when you're intentional to line up with your predestined and preordained footsteps. You have the power and the authority by declaring and decreeing a thing to pull heaven on earth. You believe it? If you don't, try it. And if I ain't telling the truth, come tell me. Because that's how much I believe, excuse me, that our steps are predestined and they're preordained. So even if something's going on that you may be uncomfortable with, pray about it, speak it, call it, declare it, and it'll be so. As long as it's lined up with heaven, it'll happen. So, anyone else? Anyone else? If not, I'm over here choking. I need my water. But we can end if no one else has anything. Is there something in the chat?
Go get your water cooler.
Something, thanks. Is there something in the chat? Let me see. Oh. Oh, y'all was talking to each other. Okay. I just seen a number. Well, if it be not, because we literally just got here. So I'm gonna get my water, get this car unpacked. We brought an addition home with us, so we got a lot going on. And we had not seen Pocket, so he's mad because I put him in the room. But I want you to remember to stay focused, stay humble, stay positive. Be the best version of you unapologetically because no one else can do it. And be intentional to walk out your predestined and your preordained footsteps because no one else can do them the way you can do them. All right? So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.